Well, it's not breaking news, and just 2 days after Frank Ragnow announced his retirement, the Detroit Lions are trying their best to fill the gap. We have added a new player to the roster, and this is coming from Mike Garafolo, says that the Lions are signing veteran offensive lineman Trystan Colon to a one-year deal, sources say. The former Ravens and Arizona Cardinals guard slash center, who started 7 games for Arizona last season, joins Detroit after the retirement of Frank Ragnow. Now, of course, we are all still kind of reeling from the sudden retirement from Frank Ragnow. Now, according to what we've seen and heard, the Detroit Lions had some idea that this could happen, which is one of the reasons that we took a guy like Tate Ratledge. But still, we were hoping that Frank Ragnow could go at least one more year, but he was unable to do that even though he tried. So the Detroit Lions offensive line is going to look massively different for 2025 than it did for 2024. Not only have we lost our Pro Bowl center, we also lost Kevin Zeitler as well. So it looks like that between the offensive line, we're going to have Taylor Decker and Panay Sewell. They're going to anchor down the left and right sides. And then we're going to have a mix between Graham Glasgow. The 3 interior guys are going to be like a hodgepodge of players. And it's going to be a different year for sure, which in a way kind of terrifies me because we know what Jared Goff is like with how frazzled he is with a subpar offensive line. Now, I'm not saying that the line is going to be subpar, but we got to be honest with ourselves. It is not going to be what it was last year. There's no way. If it does, I'll be surprised. You're probably going to have 1 or 2 rookies playing substantial roles. Now, we also saw what Christian Mahogany was able to do last season. So if one of these rookies can come in and play remotely like that, then that will be huge for the Detroit Lions. So we can't pretend ourselves and act like this is not a huge blow. Losing Frank Ragnow is a giant blow to not only the Detroit Lions Super Bowl aspirations, but also the stability of Jared Goff. Now, you guys know I love Jared Goff, and I will defend him as much as I can, but I call it the dreaded spin move. He has gotten better with that over the past couple of seasons, but those initial 2 seasons, it was dreadful. Jared Goff is not athletic enough on a regular basis to turn his back to any defender. He got out of it a couple times last year, but that is not his strong suit. And with the subpar offensive line, then everything could crumble. Shout out to my guy, the Dern, who brought something to my attention. Said, hey, with the offensive line taking a hit, that means that our defense is probably going to have to be better. Because just think about it. Our offensive line, our offense being number 1, is anchored by the offensive line. Offensive line protects from Jared Goff. Jared Goff can get the ball downfield. Offensive line open up holes for Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery. Get the ball downfield. So I'm glad Frank did it in enough time that we still have training camp and preseason to get some togetherness, some cohesiveness. And I wonder if we're going to see any of our starters on the offensive line play during the preseason. But Trystan Colon was actually undrafted. I tried to find some stats from ESPN, but there were none there. But there were some from NFL.com. Now, according to NFL.com, says that he played all 17 games in 2024 for the Arizona Cardinals, played 14 the year before. He actually was undrafted in 2020, played 2 games for the Ravens, spent his first 3 seasons with the Ravens, and then the last 2 with the Arizona Cardinals. Here's what Pro Football Talk had to say. Said Colon spent the last 2 seasons with the Cardinals, and he started 11 of the 31 games he played in Arizona. Well, we did 17 plus 14 is 31. He also played 20 games and made 4 starts in 3 seasons with the Ravens at the start of his career. Colon has seen time at both guard and center over the course of his career. So he's like another Graham Glasgow. So he will join Graham Glasgow, 2nd-round pick Tate Ratledge, and 5th-round pick Miles Frazier in the mix for playing time on the interior. And again, so right at this moment, we do not have a solidified center. And to everybody in the comment section that has something to say about Brad Holmes, is he shout out to my guy, man, that in hindsight, he's the great general manager and all this for taking a guy and all that does not change the fact that we need a pass rusher. It does not change, has anything to do with that. So we don't have a solidified center. Is that a concern for you? It is for me. I know Graham right now, I would say that honestly, the battle is probably going to come down between Graham and this guy here, Trystan, for starting center. I would sign that. The Detroit Lions, I mean, there's somebody that could be cut. Someone could be cut maybe as training camp approaches and the preseason goes on. But do I want a guy that's going to be cut the further we go down? We signed Trystan now. He has the ability to play both center and guard along with Graham. Why not just, I mean, unless you're going to find that guy at center, you might as well buckle down on one of these guys. Graham has been with the team longer, two stints, right? Trystan is brand new, and you have Tate that's a rookie. And I don't know about you, but I know a rookie has to eventually get some, like, you're only a rookie once. Frank Ragnow was a rookie. Penei Sewell was a rookie. You have Taylor Decker was a rookie. But we're talking about first-round picks in the likes of Penei Sewell and Taylor Decker over an undrafted player. Now, I don't want to make any light of that because I'm not trying to discredit the guy. He's undrafted, still in the NFL. That's a big deal. For you to be drafted and still in the NFL, and not only still in the NFL, has played every season since he went undrafted. Went undrafted in 2020, played 2021, 22, 23, and 24. So in the 5 seasons that he's been undrafted, he's played in the NFL and has played 17 games, played the most games in his career over the last 2 seasons. Started those 11 games for the Arizona Cardinals. So it seems like he's getting better over time. So if we're gonna not find that guy, like a stud at center, at free agent, or we don't have our eyes to trade for someone, which apparently we don't, seeing what this signing is, then we might as well buckle down. I mean, this guy could be our starting center after the preseason is over, but we're going to see. I don't know how I feel about a rookie being starting center right now, not with what we're trying to do. Our offense is rolling. I mean, and I'm going to say something here, and I know some of you are going to be offended. In no world can you say that the Lions are going to be what they were last year. You just can't say that. Ben Johnson is gone. Benedict Johnson is gone. And although I feel like we can move past him, but you got to admit that we took some hits. We lost Benedict Johnson, our offensive coordinator. We have lost 2 guys on our offensive line. It is very, very likely that we could have 1 to 2 rookies starting or on the line at one point in the season. That offensive line, trust me, I realize the importance of an offensive line, and I will probably never react to drafting an offensive lineman in the first round. Like, I've seen what they can do. Taylor Decker, Penei Sewell, Frank Ragnow. That's how one of the ways that you get a top 3 offensive line. But we cannot pretend as though this does not change things. It does. If the Lions were Super Bowl favorites, they probably are not anymore. I mean, we got to be honest. Do you still feel that the Lions are Super Bowl? I think they're contenders. I don't know if they were favorites in anyone's eyes, especially with what happened on the defensive side of the ball. But we have to be honest. We have to be honest with ourselves. Every team goes through like a transition period. And that's why I think some analysts could argue that our window for the Super Bowl has closed. I don't think it's closed, but I think that it's shutting. I do, because everything has to align perfectly for you to win a Super Bowl. I mean, there's only one team that wins it all. I think our chance was in 2023, and I think it's going to be quite difficult, because the better we get, the better our opposition gets. And also, the last point that I'll make about how teams change, we have to be honest with ourselves about what's coming up in the next few years. We have 5 guys that we're going to have to make decisions on. Jahmyr Gibbs, Jamison Williams, Jack Campbell. We also have Sam Laporta and Brian Branch. If you were to take those 5 people and you were to say what's most likely and what's least likely, all right, I'm going to give you mine. What's most likely is that Jahmyr Gibbs is going to be the highest paid running back in the National Football League. What's least likely is that we are going to we're going to extend. It's really, really close. And I know some of you going to be upset. It's really, really close between Jameson Williams and Jack Campbell. If I had to pick, I'm going to say that Jack Campbell will be the odd man out. But I've heard some say Sam Laporta. I've heard some say Brian Branch. To me, what's most likely is Jahmyr Gibbs is the highest paid running back in the National Football League. And what's least likely is that we retain the services of either Jameson Williams or Jack Campbell. But give me yours and the thoughts in the comments below. Let me know, how do you feel with the change in the offensive line, with what we've done on the defense, which is very little, okay? We still don't have somebody, a bona fide pass rusher opposite Aiden. Aiden is recovering. How do you feel about the 2025 season? We can all agree we're not going to go 15-2 again, and most likely not go 16-1 or 17-0. That doesn't matter to me, as long as we make the playoffs. What do you think? How much regression, if any, do you think we're going to have for 2025? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Got some news about merchandise. It will be launching on July 1st. Members of the director tier will probably get early access and a special promo code. And I've got some things that I'm working on as well when it comes to that whole side of things. I'm looking forward to doing that. Thank you guys so much for supporting the channel and making me the #1 independent Detroit Lions content creator on YouTube. You guys are awesome, because this channel is made possible by viewers, subscribers, and members just like you. It's because of your support I get to do what I do. You could be anywhere else on YouTube, but you choose to rock with me. Take care of yourself and each other. And as always, go Lions.